something else that people are excited about so much recently is Godzilla, because Godzilla -1 came out. Everyone's going nuts about it, going crazy about it. And now the directors come forward and be like, hey guys, I want to do a second one. Of course.
Hell yeah.
After grossing over $106 million at a they're saying $10 to $15 million budget, that's a huge win for them. What he wants to do is like take a more serious tone of the kaiju versus kaiju, like, and then adding in a human aspect to have it be more serious and actually bring that together for the next one. So if he can do that, he says he'd be all on board about making it. I mean, for me, I'm like, who doesn't want more Godzilla?
Hell yeah.
Bring on more Godzilla.
Every time the answer can only be yes.
More Godzilla.
Godzilla, please.
That's the answer. He actually came first. I would certainly like to see what the sequel would look like. I like that the war is over, and it seems to be over, and we've reached the state of peace and calm, and perhaps that calm before the storm, and the characters have no idea yet. They've been forgiven of what is imposed upon them. But to me, I'm like, yes, he's like thinking about, hey, you think it's done? And it's not done. And Godzilla shows up as always. I like that freaking show on Apple TV Plus. Monarch was a lot of fun too. The movie too coming out. We have Godzilla X Kong is coming out too, and people are going crazy about that. New trailer just actually came out for that. I watched that. I don't know if we have time to watch together. I put it on here just in case. But the new trailer came out for that too, and it looks pretty freaking good. It's better than the first trailer. I'll say that too. But he wants to do a sequel. Do we want to see a sequel to this? Do we think it's gonna be good? What do we think about this? Sabrina, do you want to see a sequel to Godzilla -1? Do you think that makes sense for the budget, what they've been doing? Or do you think that because we have some other franchises going that we don't need that right now?
I mean, I still want to see Godzilla -1, period. I kind of want to see Godzilla -1 minus color, which I think is probably
that was the only way I saw it. It was so good. Oh my God.
Probably still playing somewhere, so I really want to see that. So I've heard amazing things about it. Everyone's raved about it. That I know that I've seen it. People are annoyed that it wasn't nominated more. So I as from all I hear, this is the type of IP-ness that does several movies, right? Like this IP-ness is rich for growing, right? That's what they do in these types of situations. They grow. Okay, so I feel like it's okay. Usually I'm like, don't make more movies, do something different. But if you're already recycling the IP-ness 100,000 times, perhaps if we have a good one, if we came back with a good one, which is, from what I hear, it's fantastic, I don't see why another one should not be made, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like the same thing too. It's like if people love it that much, like why would we not just do more, right?
I mean, I know people who saw Godzilla -1 and then went immediately to go see Godzilla -1 minus color because it was that fucking good. So I really and I mean, like, you know, people who
Queen.
I know that I've worked with that, you know, work in the film industry, like people that like know movies, you know, not like, you know, my dad who probably would be like, yeah, it was awesome, he wrecked shit. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was people who you can respect their opinion. So I think that they really did do a good job. Again, unfortunately, I have not gone to see it, but I will. And so I feel like this is probably one of the few times that I will say to absolutely make a sequel.
Yeah. And we got some chat about Thundercats. I remember they've been trying to do a Thundercats movie for years. Like 2007 or 8 when I moved to California, Sam Huntington was supposed to be in it as the voice of Lion-O. I worked on a movie with him, and he was Mimi Siku in Jungle to Jungle. He was in that show about the vampire and the ghost and the werewolf or something lived together.
Is that a joke? Vampire, ghost, and a werewolf walk into a bar?
It's something like that. But I did a movie called Tug with him, not a porno. It was
Valentine's Day.
We don't believe you. Did you use lube?
Hashtag not porno. Anyways, yeah. Honestly, I think though that give us more of this. Give us more -1. I like what Queen said, -2. What do you think there, Sean? Do you want to see?
Really quickly, I'm sorry. Richard Tracy said that the human drama was so compelling in Godzilla -1, it's going to be hard to top. And that is actually the number one thing that I heard from everyone.
Yeah.
Was that it's the first time they actually cared about the B story about the humans.
Which
you know
you
what
should.
I mean? Yeah. That's
what for me, like Godzilla -1 was just a really great encapsulation. Thank you. It's Wednesday. Of what made like classic Godzilla films like so enjoyable, right? Like the groundedness of it, the fact that we had like perspective of not only the scale and scope of how big Godzilla is supposed to be, but also like the devastation and the human drama elements. And yes, I thought -1 was probably one of my favorite films of last year. Like it just hit on all the marks. It was an enjoyable watch. It had a lot of good callbacks and a lot of good like effects in it. I'm very surprised the budget was that low, although some of the sets I can kind of see that, but it was fantastic, and I would love to see that kind of story given to some of the more later Godzilla stories where it's just a kaiju on kaiju love battle fight. Like kind of. I think that this director, this creator could really have a good take on that and do it justice. But no, it was such a fantastic film, and I would love to see this come back and do a sequel, and give him more. I don't care. I don't need this part. I don't really need to see Kong and Godzilla. We've had that movie enough.
Me too.
And the new trailer they have like we've upgraded Kong, and he has like a metal fist that he's like
See, again
stuff with. And punch people.
America doesn't need to meddle in the affairs of kaiju. Personally, if you really like kaiju, there's an art collective show out of New York called Kaiju Big Batel, which is basically like wrestling, like off wrestling, like independent shows, but every character is based on or created to look like some kind of kaiju monster. Look up Kaiju Big Batel. Haven't thought about that, but known about it for 20 some odd years. So
Yeah. I that's it's fucking cool. Well, everybody check that out. Also, I think that I know the Godzilla Kong thing might be overdone, but it does look interesting. The first trailer didn't think it'd do as well as the second trailer looked better. It looked like it was more campy, more fun, but this actually hit home. And again, it's the human dynamic goes a long way, as everyone's saying in the chat. And I hope that they're able to recreate that or make it even better for the second one. Mike, I know you're a big fan of Godzilla. Are you excited about this? That -2 might be coming, I guess, as Queen said? Or do you think that this is, again, like it worked really well the first time, let's not jinx it the second time, even though Godzilla keeps coming back for everybody always?
Godzilla has to come back, Brian, because those fears in the back of our mind that there is chaos coming towards us about which we have no control. It keeps coming. Those fears are going to be ever present in the human psyche. I think the criticism of Godzilla versus Kong, basically the giants fighting kaiju. Oh man, look at these fucking crazy giant robots and monsters fighting, is a completely different, although I guess related, version, just kind of idea as compared to something like Godzilla -1, where that idea of something this big and scary is literally used as a metaphor for something like the challenges that the nation of Japan was facing coming up to World War II and going out. Like the whole idea of I can't even think what's the name of an airplane that zooms in with no expectation of coming out.
Kamikaze.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's an upsetting idea, kind of, for a
absolutely.
movie, but it's so humanizing. It brings such a human element to a really strange behavior, a very kind of extreme behavior, and to put a spotlight on that in a movie that is intended for mass consumption like that. I really do think it takes the metaphor of a big fucking monster coming to crunch you in your hometown to get that to come across in a really visceral way. I only saw this movie a couple of weeks ago. Look at that image. Like,
it's great.
He's coming after
Dude,
your
ass. All the creature effects were so well done.
The other thing, Sean, is that image in the black and white -1 color version, which I didn't realize there was a color version when I went to see it a couple of weeks
really?
ago.
Oh, really?
I went to see it because I was like, oh, this is back in theaters. I missed it the first time. I need to see it. I didn't realize it. But in those shots, his eyes are like glowing bright white, and it's like,
amazing.
It's
I'd
really
take that all the
old
time.
School Nosferatu kind of terror effects.
Nosferatu.
I really think that this was a solitary effort in terms of movie making. I really don't know like where
you take it from here?
Yeah.
Where do you take it? Because
Well,
it really said the thing about the challenges of the individual. And spoiler alert. Actually, I'm not even going to do it because you guys might not have seen it. I'm not even going to do a spoiler. Not even going to talk about that. But it built.
Are you okay?
It built in a human element at the end where the hero gets to save the day, and you're like, well, of course.
Oh my God.
Why wasn't that always just
Makes
part
sense.
of the plan? Right? You see what I'm saying though, right, Sean?
I don't know. I felt like such respect was given and like reverence was given to the role of a kamikaze pilot. And seeing that side of the story is not one historically that Americans have probably considered or even like, sought more information on. Like,
Right. It's just like kamikaze pilot, like not like what that reality is. Yeah.
Not like the spectrum of people that made up these pilots, right? Like, it was done just with a very like subtle hand and gave it respect and reverence, and like you appreciated what he was trying to do with that. But I agree with you. Like, if this is all we get, fine, I'd be happy with that. If we get a sequel, the nerd in me wants to see a Mothra, wants to see not the smog monster. I mean, that's
what he wants to do, though.
That's ecological shit. Well, there's the whole like notion of like Godzilla being a force of nature that's supposed to like mend the planet and fix things.
Mm-hmm.
No, the motherfucker just wants to destroy things and be left alone. Like that's I like that kind of Godzilla. I don't give me this whole mysticism, marvelly kind of backstory. It ruins it.
But that's what Monarch was trying to do too. Monarch was trying to be like, hey, Godzilla is intelligent. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to protect the planet, and that's why we shouldn't be trying to kill him. It was like this whole thing. They're trying to like blow up not spoiler a little bit if you haven't watched Monarch on Apple TV Plus. I know Mike doesn't have Apple TV Plus, but I think you would like him too, Mike.
I do have Apple TV Plus, and I was just going to ask you about Monarch. You enjoy it? Lynn's always she's like, gosh, we watched that one, and I think I'm about ready to if it's good.
Get in there, man.
I enjoyed it, and the monsters were good in it too. They didn't have them all the time. The acting's actually really great. Kurt Russell's awesome. His son does a good job playing him, I think, in his own way, because his son plays a younger version of him. They jump between like the 50s and the 80s, and then the present day. They jump all around, and they go into these portals that take them to the underground area where Godzilla's from, and then when they come back, it's been like decades have gone by. So it's very interesting.
So they're in the MonsterVerse, right?
Yes, in the MonsterVerse. They're only there for a little bit of time, and they come back. Sean, did not see it?
I did not see it, but speaking of MonsterVerse, right now there is a Justice League versus Godzilla versus King Kong comic that is out there. It is as ridiculous as you expect. Obviously, the focus is on the Justice League and Godzilla.
I think they would win, honestly. I really do. They've got...
Superman supposedly died in the first issue, so it was really whatever. But it's a lot of other also like his like mythological kind of kaiju, right? Like when they were in Atlantis with Aquaman, like the monster that came up from the depths, it had a Cthulhu like kind of appearance to him. So that was really cool, but it's weird. I know we're off topic. I'm sorry.
Monsters coming out of the deep. I think that's straight on topic, Sean.
Yeah, I think that's straight on topic. But I'm really excited about this overall because I think that Godzilla is great. And the trailer I said for the Kong versus Godzilla or Kong x Godzilla, it looks good to me. And I'm excited to see where they go with this.
I'm with you, Brian.
Keep bringing Godzilla back because again, Godzilla always comes back, like you said, Mike. He always comes back, and we want to see him keep coming back, keep kicking ass because that's what he's supposed to do.